Hi, and welcome to this episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. This podcast is recorded on Wurundjeri country, and I pay my respects to the First Nations custodians of the land, both here and wherever you're listening from. This is the fourth instalment of my Truffle series. I spoke to Mark Ebbels a while ago when he was head chef at TarraWarra in the Yarra Valley. He's still out in that beautiful area, and most recently has been working on menu creation and setup at Riem, which is part of the Helen and Joey estate. Mark is a passionate and creative chef with a real heart for local Yarra Valley produce, and it was such a pleasure catching up with him again and talking truffles. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Jo, good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Now, Mark, you spend a lot of time in the Yarra Valley. And I've spoken to you before in the Yarra Valley at TarraWarra, but now you're doing some different things. What is your experience with truffles?
Well, on and off. I haven't used them all, every year, in every menu. But it's something that I really look forward to every winter. It's a very unique offering. Obviously, it's only available for a very short period of time.
So when you do come into the season for truffles, and and there is the opportunity to put them on the menu, what sort of dishes do you like to use them in?
I think that really varies on the application, on what do you want to get out of the truffle. So we have quite a few different. When I say we, in the restaurants that I've worked in the past, we've had quite a few different variations. So I really enjoy sort of a bit of variety, I suppose, trying to get the most out of each truffle. So shaving a truffle is a nice way to use it. When you're getting a really thin slice, where visually for the customers you can see a lot of the marbling in the truffle. They get to also talk to the chef or the server that's describing it, where it's from, and the characteristics that that sort of area is maybe popular for. And then when you shave a truffle out with a thin sort of mandolin over a hot dish, the truffle can gently warm and sort of give off a bit more truffle aroma.
Yeah, nice.
Which creates a very specific sort of serving technique, I guess. I really like that interaction as well with the customers.
Yes.
Because they're paying a premium, obviously, for a product, and when they get an additional bit of service and show it, it really resonates with people.
Yeah.
But, another way to do it that I really enjoy, again, it's a specific application, I suppose. All of the different ways that I would serve a truffle, depending on the application that I want to do with it. But for something like a canapé, or maybe a snack or a one bite sort of item, microplaning a truffle can be really beneficial, because you can use smaller truffles. You don't get the sort of wastage you get off the ends of a truffle if you're trying to shave it, but you're creating a lot of surface area. So when you get one bite in your mouth at once, that's a lot of release of flavour, I suppose you should say, because of all that surface area.
Yeah. And do you have a particular leaning towards a region, a truffle producing region?
I think they've got all got their own sort of benefits, I suppose, and their own characteristics that are enjoyable. I really like Buxton truffle, but that is mainly because we also really enjoy using Yarra Valley produce out here.
Yes.
Some of it's just fantastic, and it's a great story, and they're also a really high quality product. But we use it. It's from Asian Usher, but I'm not 100% sure what his brand is actually.
Okay.
So he's got a viticulturist business out here in the Yarra Valley. And he also happens to grow truffles on his property.
Okay.
But then the other element as well with serving truffles is, say if we were going to do something like a risotto, like maybe a relatively neutral flavoured one, something like a Milanese, or maybe even a truffle risotto, as much as everybody does it, and it's been flogged to death. Sorry, not a truffle risotto, a mushroom risotto. Would be dicing, or even a pasta dish, dicing the truffles into smaller pieces, and then folding it through the dish at the end, so that you end up encapsulating flavour in each of those diced pieces of truffle, so that when the customer eats it, they don't really experience palate fatigue that much from such a strong truffle flavour that's omnipresent. It comes in bursts, and I think you can get a lot more out of flavors doing that.
Yeah.
It becomes a more interesting eating experience.
Can you go wrong with truffles? Do you have to be really careful with the way you deal with them?
It depends what you define by wrong, I suppose. Everyone's level of enjoyment is specific to them, but I think going with the truffle would be not what's the word I'm looking for here? Not utilising it properly, not getting the best out of it, and basically wasting the money, if that makes sense. So using it in a way where you're not really enhancing the truffle's actual characteristics and beautiful flavour profile. You're trying to force it somewhere where it doesn't really fit. Maybe cooking a fresh truffle, too much, and boiling off all of that or evaporating all of that beautiful flavour and aroma. Maybe serving it in too larger pieces, where it's not actually I don't know if you've ever done this, but to just take a bite of truffle by itself is not really that enjoyable an experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To have it the right texture and the right thickness, the right temperature, it makes it much more enjoyable. The aroma is a huge part of it, obviously. So to just have a cold slice of truffle, it can be a little bit off-putting, actually. It's a bit of a strange texture.
Yeah. And so you've been doing some consulting and some cooking at Riem, which has some Asian leanings. Would you use truffles in Asian cuisine?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're not. So Riem is and this is a bit of an off-putting word to use these days for the connotations of it, but it is similar in a fusion sort of environment. So we have a Chinese leaning menu, but it is largely encapsulated in a Western offering.
Yeah.
So we're using ingredients and techniques and stories as well that relate back to Helen and Joey's culinary heritage and where they grew up in China, in Jinhua for Helen and Sichuan province for Joey. We're incorporating that into sort of modern Australian, whatever that really means, modern Australian dishes that are acceptable for approachable is the right word, I suppose, approachable for your everyday consumer.
Yeah.
So it isn't by any stretch a Chinese restaurant.
No.
But it certainly has a lot of those characteristics that are familiar, weaved throughout the menu and the dishes. But so we haven't got any yet because Adrian hasn't started harvesting yet. He's probably got about a month to go. But we will be using truffle this year. We've got a wine dinner coming up where we're considering a truffle and chicken dessert with a rum bubba, which could be quite interesting. I'm not going to oversell it because we haven't developed the dish yet.
Yep. Oh, that's exciting. Great.
Yeah. We're thinking to do a truffle ice cream. We've both Abe and I have had truffle ice creams before in the past that have been really delicious. So we think that could work quite well. The dinner is with our poultry for the fireside event over in the Yarra Valley in I think it's in June.
Beautiful.
Sorry, I think it's in July. So that should be really, really exciting dinner actually. But beyond that, as we evolve the menu, we change it. Maybe every couple of months we'll change a couple of dishes, and then the ones that really speak to us, that work well with the story of the restaurant, that fit truffle, we will definitely be getting something to sell on to the customers.
It must be so lovely working out there because you really get to see the delineation of the seasons, don't you? Because it's just all so reflected in nature out there. That must.
Yeah, it's very clear, especially for myself. I get a lot of people out here actually as well that have vegetable gardens. They grow a lot of their own food, or even have certain fruit trees in their yard. It really makes it clear that when certain seasons arrive and what's happening. Also in the different. I live in Talangi, which is on the end of the Great Dividing Range. It's about 10 minutes out of the Yarra Valley, on the edge of the Yarra Valley, and the difference between when our products in our farm come into season compared to when the ones in the kitchen gardens in the Yarra Valley come into season is astonishing for something that's only 10 minutes away.
Wow.
It's a different climate. We're probably some seasons maybe a month behind when we might start getting nice tomatoes or raspberries or strawberries, that sort of thing.
Gosh.
Very interesting.
That is
There's
interesting.
obviously a lot of factors in play there, like variety of the product and whatnot, but
Yeah.
overall, yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you. That's really perfect, and it's lovely to talk to you again.
You're welcome. Anytime. Yeah, nice to chat to you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with the Chef with Mark Ebbels at Rem in the Yarra Valley. If you liked what you heard, you can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Rem, that's RE_EM_Yarra Valley. This was the 5th episode of my series on truffles. Next up is another Yarra Valley chef, Ryan Lynch from Lockavore Studio. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat and become a subscriber, and why wouldn't you, at www.conversationwithachef.com. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.